The board's singular action is to replace the CEO, right? Like
Yeah.
technically, that's pretty much all they can do. They can create a subcommittee, they can do some other things, but at the startup stage, all they can do is replace the CEO. The number of outcomes that's worked for is none. And in most cases, the board at the early stages cycles actually has a minority interest. They technically don't have control. What they do is they do social control.
Yeah.
Back to the Squarespace thing, we had some big board members who are on the top 5 companies, whatever else.
Yeah.
And they would come in and be like, as an example, I was hanging out with Zuck this weekend, and he thinks everyone should do more advertising in their platform, right? Yeah. And that was a way of trying to socially engineer us into a behavior he thought was productive. So afterwards, we'd all go and sit around and be like, okay, let's ignore everything we just heard, and not necessarily, but let's process it and figure out what's mattering. Yeah. So many small companies, particularly with unhealthy boards, get in this social loop where they feel that the board is actually not another team member, but they're somehow these people on high.
Hierarchy.
Yeah, it creates a hierarchy. And mechanic-wise, it's the same thing. Like you meet the board and you make this deck, hopefully not anymore, but you give them output.
Yeah.
They review output and ask you questions. And as that process goes, you get more and more pushed down. So I think I probably gave you the same advice.
You gave me this advice and I did not take it. Yeah. And this is like the best advice. Tell the listeners this best board advice.
So that is not the way you want the scenario to work. You want the scenario to all be focused on the company.
Yeah.
So when board members start asking us questions, and the advice is then ask them questions back. Give them homework to do so that conversation swings. So if you have a board and they're saying like, hey, you should really give us a plan for that enterprise customer. Awesome. Could you do some research? You've got a whole data team on how many enterprise customers there are, who the buyer is in those organizations, what their dynamic looks like. So when you get back to that next board meeting and they're like, how'd that enterprise go? We're like, well, here, great. And how'd your research go? And it just repositions you to both be talking about the topic area